Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 11th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting. Roll call is Yesme, Johnson, Emma is absent, Montgomery is absent, Lundell is filling in for Montgomery as the city council representative. Can I get an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Lundell, second by Johnson to approve the agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Approval of the minutes, moved by Lundell, second by Johnson. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public input. Did you guys look that up?
Signed up that we were here. That's what we're signing up for, just like school over here.
Not up there.
We're good.
Good? Okay, we're gonna bypass the public input.
Well, don't for the.
So the next item on the agenda is a public hearing for a conditional use permit for the purpose of adding a cold storage warehouse at 31720 318th Street, PID 527197101, which will require a 3-foot front setback variance. The property is zoned B2 General Business District. Diane?
The addition of the cold storage warehouse will be 40 by 52. Two cooler freezer trailers will be removed to build a larger up-to-date cold storage facility, which will better serve local businesses. Steve already mentioned the 3-foot lot variance, and that is about it for that one.
Anybody wishing to address that conditional use permit for adding a cold storage addition to that building? Second call, anybody wishing to address the conditional use permit? Third call, anybody wishing to address the conditional use permit? We're going to close that public hearing. Discussion. Pretty straightforward. It's on that north side, correct, Randy? And you're just going to remove those trailers and add that that 20 by 40, correct? Is that what I said?
56 foot, not first.
56, 40 by 56.
40 by 52.
I'm sorry. But the only thing is for the 3-foot setback. That would be the only reason for this public hearing, right?
Well, it has to be brought in as a conditional use in the B2,
Okay.
but the 3-foot setback, yes, also has to be approved.
Okay. Any discussion?
Not really for me.
Ann?
Yes.
Seems fine. It's not like there's any house or neighbor like right there that it's gonna affect. It's only 3 feet, so.
Want me to ask for approval of the resolution?
Public hearings first.
Nope, we're discussing.
Steve, we need approval of the resolution 2022-08. 07, sorry, was looking ahead.
Should we vote on it now?
Yep.
Don't we close the public hearing and then do all that? Oh, you did?
He did, yeah.
Just I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So then we can move to approve Resolution 2022-07, conditional use permit and 3-foot front setback variance for PID 527197101.
I'll second that.
Motion and second to approve that conditional use permit and variance for PID 527197101. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. The second public hearing is conditional use permit for the purpose of adding a warehouse to PID 527-000090. The property is zoned B2 General Business District. So the public hearing is open. Diane?
Allied Valve is outgrowing its current space and needs additional warehouse space. The building proposed is a 12,000 square foot warehouse, of which 1,080 square feet is designated for employee office space, which will include a vestibule, 2 bathrooms, and mechanical, etc. I do believe we also have Mark from G Cubed on Zoom.
Correct. Mark Walsh, a G-Cubed engineer, here to answer any questions you may have.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay, so the only thing required from us is,
Again, this is a B2. In order to bring warehouse space into a B2, it requires a conditional use.
anybody wishing to address the public hearing? Second call, anybody here wishing to address the public hearing for the warehouse? Third and final call?
This is Mark Walsh, just confirming you can hear me if you have any questions.
Yes, I don't think do you have a question, Derek?
Not right now, no.
Thank you.
I close the public hearing. So, pretty straightforward. Gonna fit in there just fine.
Yeah.
That's what we're after.
Yeah, I think it's great. The local business is expanding and gonna build something on an empty lot. It's
And a
kinda what-
12,000 square foot building, it's a nice
Yep.
size. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we like to see.
Yes.
And also, this, he can't transfer any of the manufacturing aspects of his business over there, correct? Because this is B2 and not I1.
Right. Right now, he's just asking for, the warehouse.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. Okay.
Well, if there's nothing else, I will make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-08.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, the next public hearing, we're gonna combine C and D. Conditional use permit to conduct grading work in Bluff Protection Overlay District of 6686 Bluff Drive and 6682 Bluff Drive. Diane?
Do you want to turn on, or should we have? On, yeah. There we go. All right, today we met with Jason and Rick Knowlton and Doug Geispers, and we talked about this project. It's a little detailed. I'm going to use the map to kind of help describe what the areas are that we're talking about. This area up above here is the bluff impact zone. There is a 30-foot area between the yellow line and the green line, which is also kind of what I would call the buffer between the bluff impact zone and the bluff protection district, which is down here. Code states, actually code 152814 states that no grading, excavating, or filling shall be allowed within the bluff impact zone. So that would basically be anything above the yellow line here. And this would be to the north, and this would be to the south down here. So with a conditional use permit, they would be allowed to work in this area down here. And Jason, do you want to?
Sure.
So I guess what we're looking to do is, there, if you guys are familiar with that area at all, there's just kind of a big giant crater there, and we're looking to fill that in as to accommodate 2 more homes up there. From the yellow line south is what we're after. And from the yellow line south, and the street is up here on the bottom of the page.
You can use your finger across that thing, then you can.
Yeah, okay, well,
There's a street.
so right here is the street. And then right here is the area that we're looking to fill in. And I guess that's kind of the majority of it. It's, it needs to be filled in to accommodate the 2 houses to go up top.
So, in that black mark there is, you guys are gonna put in a silt fence there for control?
While we're, yes, just for erosion control while we're doing the excavation work up
Would
there.
would it be a lot to ask if you put that fence all along that yellow line so you don't encroach in that area? Or are you comfortable that you're gonna stay out of that?
It's more of that where the black line is kind of where the water would run. So that's where we would try to catch it. The rest of it behind that yellow line is, I guess we could, but it wouldn't be necessary because the water that any concern would be running right across that area there.
What I was trying to get at is to keep the machines out of there if there's a fence there. I mean, so you know where you can work and where you can't work.
Yep, and it is all staked out up there with, it's marked bluff line through there. But
The
yeah,
yellow line is,
yep,
staked
excuse me, the green line is staked out.
so you just know enough to stay 30 feet off of that when you're
Yep.
working,
Yep,
correct? Is that
correct.
right? Is that right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yes, Rap marked out the bluff line being the green.
right?
And we gotta stay that back, and that's where, we shouldn't be down there, so that's where we drew the line for the silt fence to go. Other than that, it's, yeah, I guess I don't know what else you would need from me, but
Uh,
maybe
I
Doug
open
or Rick wants to get up and talk a little bit too.
Been a hole there between those 2 lots for 20 years since they did that grading up there. You know, the hydrant is right in the middle of that, and the sidewalk's gonna go right across, right next to that hole. You know, and if we fill that in down in there, you know, you could have 2 nice lots in there again. And to help fill out that development, otherwise those 2 lots are pretty well useless.
Well, we're just talking about, you know, the bluff line issues. That's all we're talking
We're
about.
just talking to fill that in between.
Not in between.
in between those two lots.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
Right, yep,
But stay.
South of the
staying-
yellow.
But staying south of the yellow.
Yeah.
exactly,
Okay.
yep.
So, and,
But right behind the hydrant, it drops right off now. And the new sidewalk's gonna go around behind the hydrant, the way it looks to me, to make that work. So this would all fit in very well with what's gonna happen up there.
so,
Oh, okay, let me, so we're not gonna have any problem with washout or, you know, heavy rains, it's not gonna re-wash out or anything like
It isn't
that,
gonna
wash your
change the water
house?
flow up there from what it is already.
with work that's already been done there, I mean, are we having any trouble with the downstairs neighbor? Or
Yep, they've,
down
he's-
below?
they've talked to him.
Tim?
I did talk to the neighbor down and kind of explained what we were doing, and I think a big concern of theirs was maybe thought we were coming right down through the woods towards their house and their property and eliminating the trees and privacy that they want. And obviously for the lots up on the top, they want the same privacy,
Sure.
you know, from the people down below. So we don't want to take out a bunch of trees, and we're not going to, I assured her that we're not funneling or creating a bunch of water to run that's going to change any patterns of any sorts to them
That's
down
what
below.
everybody's concerned
Yep.
about, yep.
And, yeah, other than that,
Okay, is it okay if I ask, anybody else willing to address?
Yeah, Chris Albrecht, I'm at 6670, and I also own the two adjacent lots to the left of this drawing as well. And so basically, I own the lots here and here. And yeah, I've been up there for now, 12 years? And that is, it's an old extinct wash. And at the green line there, they've got a nice gentle slope from the yellow line to the green line, which is nice. And then beyond the green line is natural bluff rolling down. That's all fully wooded, and it has plants throughout the whole thing. So, I mean, that hasn't washed out ever in the years I've been up there. It's not going to. But I will say that cut right there, filling it in, that's a good idea, because that is in some kind of catastrophic rain event. Not having that cut, if there's anything that would cause a lot of water to run down, would be having the cut. Getting rid of it's actually probably a pretty good thing, because that's where the water would want to move. But once you fill that in, the natural slope of all of this is consistent past the property all the way over to Stacy and Aaron's house, and runs all the way past and through basically into my backyard. So that line stays the same. So it's not like they're introducing new slope, new anything to what kind of was already there, other than this weird crater that's always been there, which is just a dead dry wash. So, I mean, you know, and again, I would be affected directly to those sites as well, and I have no concerns about it. In fact, I think it's, to be honest, if you ever get enough of a wash event with that still there with the new sidewalk, there's a good chance part of that sidewalk could go down with it. So eliminating that would probably be a good thing. But yeah, I was just out there today. I just walked it right before the meeting, and I have no concerns. I'm all for it. And again, there's so much greenery beyond this green light heading down that's been there for 1,000 years, and it's not going anywhere. That's all I got.
Thank you. Thanks.
Aaron Deutsch, I live on the end of this 6694. So my concern with that hole is the unsightliness of it. They can't cut it in any way or means. I mean, it's gonna look like not good. It's not gonna look good for our neighborhood. It needs to be filled in because of our new sidewalks that our city's putting in. It is right next to that hole, and it's steep. So kids, we're the ones gonna be using that sidewalk. I don't want that hole next to my sidewalk. so,
Good.
all right.
Thank
I
you.
approve
Thank
of
you.
this.
Hi, I'm Laura Rezek. I actually live down behind here. And so my concern was actually the line, the yellow line, because I feel, did you guys already cross the line? Have you crossed the yellow line?
We have crossed.
Yes. So that's where the concern came up and when I contacted. I don't care if they fill that in as long as they can guarantee it's not going to shuffle, right, and come down into the bluff. The concern was that protected bluff line, and that's where the call happened, like, whoa, they're kind of creeping down in there. So that was my concern. I don't really care what happens up there as long as we're following the rules and all of the pieces that need to be followed. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tim Alchow, I live down there as well. You don't have it up, but the pin 6694, when they redid that, they did encroach the bluff, and they did that on a weekend. They had heavy machinery in there, and they altered the water flow, and so my neighbor has seen what it has done. Public Works has been out there before and saying they believe it was from tornado and some trees falling, but from 19 to late 2020, we never had water running and being altered and diverted that runs now underneath my shed, and I've been trying to, without encroaching and destroying a bunch of stuff, trying to get the flow back where it needs to go. So my only concern is once we start messing with the bluff and trying to figure out where water wants to go, wants to go in the least resistance, to make sure that we don't flood us out down below and have another my area, Grove Street, or wherever you want to do. I just want to make sure the project's good and tight, as well as I would definitely, like on that pin 6694, they tiled all their gutters out to the ravine, and so now the water just runs down to the ravine. So that's what I can see without trespassing. So I have not been up there and walked around the property to see what they have done, but I know in that project above me, the silt fence kept failing and having to be reestablished, and I had a lot of runoff to my property, and I think that's what we want to avoid down below.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
I would just like to add to his statement too, which is the street up there doesn't have the final lift. We all know that, right? And so it doesn't follow the storm sewers. So this fall, when the project up there gets done, all the water will run to the storm sewers. Right now, it runs down along here. This is the street. Comes down here and it comes down the hill. And any water that and it's a lot. We've seen heavy rains where the whole street is full and it goes down and around. And that's all in the works of also getting fixed here by fall. So I believe that could be a lot of the water that is coming down. I just wanted to kind of clarify that a little bit, that water runs downhill, right? So it's
Usually.
you know, that's where it's going to go.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I don't want to be a pessimist, but I hope the final lift takes care of it. But I think when we added, and I don't care if people want access to their backyard, but when they added that driveway off the street, you took the full curb out as well. So hopefully, right here, hopefully if that lip will solve that. But if it doesn't, I mean, that's an easy runoff, and then it's just going back down to that natural flow of water. So that, I don't know if that was ever supposed to be there or not. I mean, it's done, but I'm curious by adding bituminous now to bring it up to the lip, that's less area where the water has the resistance. And so I don't know if that's enough of a curb per se to keep that water going down in a heavy rain. So.
Anybody else want to address the public hearing? Second call for the public hearing. third and final call for the public hearing. I'm closing the public hearing. Committee. Okay, where did I go? I don't know, as far as what you've told us, that, like you said, that final lift will probably get the water to where it's gonna go in the storm sewer instead of running down over the hill. The only thing is, that curb is it missing, or it was cut out, correct?
On which one?
Which curb?
That piece of curb that Tim was alluding to for, is that
Oh,
an
around the
extra
turn.
drive, or?
No, the curb, it was cut, but it's
Half curb, small little curb.
It's a mountable curb?
Blacktop is still 2.5 inches below that, and once you hit the concrete, it goes up another 2.5 inches. The final lift of the blacktop, there's no, when it rains, it comes off Cedar Hills, way up on top of there, the water won't even reach the curb until it gets higher than 2.5 inches, then it'll go into the storm sewer.
Oh, okay.
So this is being corrected, the bids have been let already, and they're being assessed about $7,200 a lot to make that final lift. So the water will go to the storm sewer.
Okay.
All the way around. Now, to the other question, did we ever cross that yellow line? Yes, but that green line still isn't to our property lines up there. The property goes far beyond that green line.
But that is a bluff line,
You're
right?
correct.
My question was if you moved anything or touched any of the dirt or any of the trees in that area. Did you cut any trees down in that space?
Trees, yes, dirt, no. We were preparing to fill in so that waterway the waterway's cut down. So if we can't go in there to improve that, it's fine. We'll stay back that 30 feet. And then that takes care of our needs for that hole. But the water is still gonna run down that waterway.
Not worried about that. I'm worried about the bluff line. I'm worried about just doing what needs to be done appropriately.
And the bluff line's marked. The green line's been marked by a surveyor, so.
Correct.
You're welcome to come up with
Yep,
that.
oh yeah, that's fine.
The bluff line drops off pretty hard. It's a steep slope. There's no logical reason why you would go past that on build or construction for any reason.
Between the yellow line and the green line, obviously there's gonna be fresh dirt now there. Are we planting it with something, or to hold that dirt in place?
It'll be clay that's getting pushed in there. So we're gonna compact it as we fill that hole in.
Okay. Because if we took any trees down that we shouldn't have, maybe we should put a few back in where we should have.
Do that. We'll put better trees in. It's all basswood that was taken out, and mostly over on Casey's lot there. He's doing the new build to the lot next.
So I'm building on 6690 or 69.
Yep.
The green line you would not go past the green line for building. It drops off steep. It's a steep slope down the hill. There's trees that are down in there. There's trees that are standing. You know, maybe one day if you want to cut down the trees that were damaged in the storm a few years ago, just to, you know, so they don't fall down on my kid or something like that. But you know, there's no intentions on my part to go down and clear cut down to the edge of my property line. It's basically have a backyard to the bluff line and a home in front of it. So.
Well, and in fact, most of those trees down there in that cut were always dead or dying anyway. So between a lot of the trees that these guys bought, because I was watching the whole time, were either a lot of the ones that were already compromised in one way or another, either by the tornado or dead and dying. There wasn't beyond the green line, the actual trees beyond that. No, that stuff's all still intact, other than what was dropped during the tornado. There's still some deadfall in there from the tornado, but primarily what they were clearing there was stuff that was already compromised in some form or fashion.
Where the bluff line is currently staked up there, there was pretty much, I would say, no impact past that.
Correct.
Neil, you want anything to add?
Well, what the conditional use provides these folks, if you adopt it or after the council, is the right to fill in above the yellow line. There will be no impact to the north of the yellow line, and there's supposed to be no vegetation removal, no tree removal, no impact. It's the bluff impact zone. The silt fence, where they have that, what actually is up on the screen is the silt fence plan, and they're going to cover the valley. And if that don't hold in a good rain, they'll have to do some other means. It'll be monitored. I know, Steve, you asked if they should put stakes or silt fence along the entire yellow line to make sure that the impact is not there. It might be a good idea. It won't be that much more. But as far as staff goes, we agree that a conditional use would not harm the bluff. It will do good to help put a couple of houses in there. It'll help on the sidewalk. So that's what the conditional use that you guys have in front of you tonight will cover. Yellow line to the south to the road, Bluff Drive.
Neil and I did meet with Bill Angerman today too. He's the one that provided this map, and he agreed that this particular plan would be a workable one.
Okay.
Eric, anything?
Not really, I guess. Is the reason it needs a CUP because it's near the bluff line, or would that be for any place that wants to bring in fill?
It's required by code. The Bluff Protection Overlay District does require that. Yep, you're right, Derek.
Okay.
Dan?
I haven't been up there for a while, but I mean, it sounds like filling in this area is not going to do any harm to the drainage, which the problem seems to be coming around on the east end of the whole development, which that's another matter to look into to figure out why that's happening through the driveway and down the hill. I would feel more comfortable if we actually marked out the yellow line too, just to make sure.
You could make that part of your motion if you want.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think it sounds like a good plan.
You know, when we've had construction prior to any road, when the water can't get to the stormwater system, it does flood out people on the end of the system because it doesn't get to the catch basins. Once we put the final lift on, every catch basin will take some of that water and pipe it down. It's going to be a major change as far as all that water coming down around that corner. So putting that final layer on is going to be a bonus.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That was a good point you made. Yep. Would you guys agree to put a silt fence along that whole yellow line? If we go.
It's not needed because the dip, the valley is where the black line is.
Okay,
The water
but
all goes to that area.
What I'm asking is, so it's more of a border to stay out of that zone? Are you gonna be able to stay out of that zone without any?
I think what Diane was saying is if we stake the yellow line, yes, but to put, silt fence from that black line either side, it takes off uphill where the water would never possibly reach that because it's a washout, it's a gully. So if we stop it there, I'd be more willing to put 2 silt fences on that low part than just one all the way up the yellow line. You know what I'm saying? So the water's gonna run. I'd be more apt to put 2 there than there was not gonna do
Well, I'm basically, so it's a border, so you know where your working area
The
is.
stake that, like Diane said, we
Okay.
have a problem with that.
Okay.
It's staked already, the green line's already staked, so
Yep.
we gotta stay 30 feet from that line.
I'd even volunteer to help you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion to, can I put those both together? Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion to, for resolution 2022-09, conditional use permit for PID 524-550-290.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to pass the first resolution. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion for the second one.
I will make a motion for item D to approve it.
Second.
And there's a second by motion by Lundell, second by Johnson, to approve resolution 2022-10, conditional use permit for PID 524-550-300. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. There. Thank you guys for all your input.
Thank you.
Item E, adjust planning commission to 8/15/22 because of the conflict with the voting.
The primary election.
We want to set up the,
What we're talking about there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make a motion, we change the date to 8/15 at 6:30 for the planning commission.
I will second that.
Motion is by Gesme, second by Lundell, to approve the date change to 8/15/22 for the planning commission. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.